Alright, good morning, people of YouTube. So, we are back again today with a fun concept idea slash update deck profiles slash alternate take video. So, the last deck profile I gave you was Black Punch OTK, where you focused on activating Zubagon Punch and getting a bunch of effects off and generating a bunch of advantage off of just this card and making sure that your powerful level 6s were getting as much value as they possibly could. And when I gave you the list, it's still a very good list. I took that list to my locals last week and got first place at a scene where a lot of the players there have entered these Bandai tournaments. They've top 32 these Bandai tournaments at least. And so, my testing grounds are actually filled with high quality players. So for this deck, or for Black OTK, that last deck profile I showed you to get first place there, I was kind of taken aback by that because, Black is a deck that I think is good, but seeing it actually have the results made me want to test it even further. And so I've been experimenting with different ways to take the deck and different things that you can do with it. And I came up with Black Omni Punch. And so what this deck kind of does is instead of building up into a Chaosmon top end where you're swinging with a level 6 and then swinging with Chaosmon, you can build up into Omnimon. Now, the way you do that is by evolving into either Blitzgreymon or Durandamon in this build. Now, Blitzgreymon is an amazing tempo card. When it was coming out in set 1.5, people thought it was going to make massive waves. It really didn't in that format. But now that we're in set 4 and it's kind of a breeding area format, if your opponent brings their stack out of the breeding area and you evolve into Blitzgreymon, then you control the tempo of that game. It's just a card that blows your opponent back and forces them to struggle to get back ahead. Especially in a matchup, or against a matchup like Yellow or Imperial Dramon, where, they rely on building up their big evolution stacks. And if you're making them use their limited level 5s and their limited level 6s that they have access to, then you are just in that much better of a position to win the game. And Black, the last build, the Black OTK Punch, its worst matchup, I felt, was green. So you have a winning matchup against pretty much everything else. Purple is a 50-50, but you have a winning matchup against blue, you have a winning matchup against red, you definitely have a winning matchup against yellow. But green really wasn't. I felt like this deck was kind of like 35-65, where it's 65% likely for green to win that matchup. But with the red cards in here and the heavy emphasis on the Blitzgreymon, I think that this deck would do better against green. And again, like when I was bringing you the last deck profile, I said one of the things I was the least sure about when testing the deck was the top end, was the level 6s and the level 7s. So this is basically the same bottom end, but the top end is a little bit different. So this is kind of an alternate take on the deck. So this one hasn't been tested yet. I mean, when I gave you guys the last profile, it had minimum testing, but it was doing very, very well with what I had. And then I took it to locals and won with it. So this is kind of the same idea. Some of the bottom end changes I made after testing, like I decided I did want another level 3, so I bumped it from 14 to 15. This Agumon is going to be the third one, because I wanted to play 3 rookie blockers, but I wanted at least one of them to be able to attack with no restrictions. So yes, this card isn't as good against yellow, but you're already winning that matchup. So I felt like adding a second copy of Chumon was okay, and putting in this Agumon was fine. So I did cut the Digiburst Sunnerizumon that adds itself back to the hand, and my promo Sunnerizumons are coming in the mail. But I would probably cut one of the Chumons back down and probably the Agumon to put this promo Sunnerizumons back in. Golemon put in so much work during locals. Like, it put cards exactly where they needed to be. It made sure my Chaos Mons weren't dying against Chaos Mons in security. Now it's going to make sure that Omnimon is even bigger. And something that was really good was being able to, you know, swing twice, either with the level 6 and then going into Chaosmon. Now you can Zubagon Punch your Omnimon and then just use Omnimon's effect to swing twice. So that's amazing. You will also notice the inclusion of Marcus now. Marcus activates whenever you swing with a Greymon, so you have 5 targets in this deck. You have the Black War Greymon and the 4 copies of Blitz Greymon. So with the Marcus, with the Izzies, you're going to guaranteed start at 3 memory most of the time. And yeah, you're just gaining extra memory so that you can build up into bigger bodies. The Omnimon gives you some control, you know. We all remember how big or how powerful of a control card Omnimon is, and just the statement that he makes whenever you slap him down on the board. So this is just one of those decks that can clear boards, deliver a lot of aggression very quickly. You know, again, Zubagon Punch plus this is just amazing. You can D-Digivolve some stack, and then you have Piercing with the Zubagon Punch. So if you ever Zubagon Punch off of this, that's awesome. This is a great follow-up play for if you Zubagon Punch with Dogmamon. Like, you start with 3 memory, you spend 2 of it, so you go to 1, get the Gogmamon up to 16k after Digibursting a couple times with his effect, and then you end your turn by spending, or putting your opponent to 3 by evolving Gogma into Blitz Greymon, and you get rid of one of their stacks and then put yourself with a 19,000 power blocker once you count the Gogmamon's inheritable effect. So it's very, very strong. I guess the one thing to consider is the Durandamon is kind of here just as a 5th red level 6, because it can evolve off of black as well. But if you want to use Omnimon's effect to restand it, you won't get the Piercing, because you'll have to put the Durandamon back in your hand. So it's one of those things that you can either have the Piercing or the double attack, but sometimes, you know, just leaving the Piercing on it is more beneficial if they have a bunch of blockers on board. But yeah, figured I'd bring you guys this because this is a fun idea I've had, and the last Punch OTK deck has been doing very, very well in testing, so I wanted to bring you guys more ideas, more things to experiment with, and just a different take, so that you guys can play test this deck as well and see which version of it you like the best. But go ahead and let me know down in the comments below. As always, please like and subscribe. We are trying to get to 1,000 subs so that we can do another massive giveaway on the channel. But yeah, we'll see you guys next time, everybody. Thanks for watching. Bye.